So Michael Knowles did a 2-hour podcast with Nala Ray, and if you don't remember, she was this girl on the Whatever podcast, and now she's on her Crisis King Grift. And what better way to debut as the new Nala than use the Daily Wire dummies to give you a huge boost. This almost 2.5 hours of her playing victim, blaming everybody else, her family, friends, her boyfriend, for her doing what she did, and taking no accountability whatsoever. Or if she did, quickly shuffle it over to somebody else. This whole thing was just a setup for her to come out as her new character, and she even said it herself.
At this point now, it's no longer just you're taking pictures and basically selling lust or enticing lust, and that's how there's now this layer of deceit because you're lying.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
But
I'm selling a fantasy.
But are you justifying this to yourself? Is it sort of like, well, I'm an actress and I'm playing a role, or are you not justifying it at all and you think, who cares? I'm just doing whatever. And
I think a little bit of both. I didn't think about it that much at the time. I just knew I was in a world of fantasy. Like you're not even touching me anyway. You know what I'm saying? And in porn, it's a fantasy, right? The man is experiencing a fantasy with the girl that he's watching on screen. Yeah. You know, so I was like, I'm a storyteller. That's how I kind of looked at it.
So the biggest starting out for day one.
So the biggest thing I think that changed my OnlyFans career was that I had a niche in the system. 1, I have red hair. 2, I'm a gamer. 3, I love anime. And I'm a cosplayer. So I put all of that energy into creating Nala.
This is just a new character she's playing. She even said it herself. She creates fantasy and is a storyteller. And this is just another one of those things. Because the people that actually change don't go on world tours saying, "Hallelujah, Christ has saved me," while simultaneously having an OnlyFans up at the same time. And yes, you did eventually delete it, but that was after a very suspicious amount of time. I always find it funny how God always saves these people after they made their millions, but I'm sure that's just coincidence. And if she truly believed that God saved her, why don't you donate those millions? Why don't you show us how committed you are to the cause? But you won't. You won't even change the hair color that made you stand out. This is just another fantasy that she's selling to the conservatives that want so desperately to believe that all these 304s can be repackaged and sold back to men, because they know it's much easier to get a person to pick up garbage than to get a person to not be garbage. All this interview really did was broadcast that it's okay to do whatever you want, as long as in the end you say, "God saved me." And back in the day, maybe that meant something, but now people can just say it without paying any penalty or having to do any atonement other than saying some Hail Marys. And stuff like this really makes religion look weak, because when the path of forgiveness is just a paved road that anybody can take at any time, then there's no real deterrent, is there? When these people know at any point they can just turn it around at very little cost and self-sacrifice. And maybe if that path had a few more thorns and hot coal they had to walk through to earn some forgiveness, then they might think twice about leaning on the religion card to absolve their sins. Because people like this only really show that you can have it all, make all the money you ever need being a 304, and then come on back with all your money and God will have a husband here for you. These people are way too busy trying to paint a flowery picture instead of holding them accountable. They aren't your friends. It's all about how they can sell you on the idea of not holding any accountability to these people, because they ain't gonna come if their feet are being held to the fire and there's no man there to clean up the mess. And that really just shows what all these people think of you, the cleanup man.